from the likes of Mahua Amish is her statement. I'll quote to you what she says. I do not want to live in an India where BJP's monolithic, patriarchal, Brahminical view of Hinduism will prevail and the rest of us will have to tiptoe around religion. I will defend this till I die. File your FIRs. I'll see you in every court in the land. So essentially the idea that there is one North Indian or a BJP idea, a Brahminical idea of our gods and goddesses, and because that party is in power, is that one view of our gods now sought to be imposed on everyone else who may not see their gods like that. For them, giving a non-veg prasad to our gods may just be the way it's been for generations, as is the case with several of our Adivasi communities and many others.
Rahul, one will get into Hinduism and this thing separately. That's a separate conversation, and I certainly wouldn't like to comment on the politics of it. But I have to admit, I'm a little confused by the statement, because I never support any political party openly or anything. But I'm a little confused by that statement because the Prime Minister is not a Brahmin, the Home Minister is not a Brahmin, the President of India is not a Brahmin, the President candidate is not a Brahmin. But Miss Moitra is a Brahmin, actually. You know, judging by the surname, from what I know of Bengal. So I'm a little confused because she's kind of speaking against herself.
That's interesting. That's a good counter from Amish.
No, I'm not trying to counter. I'm not trying to counter.
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
But if I may, but Rahul, if I may just clarify one thing, that this entire concept of community guilt is something that, again, all of us who are liberal and Indian and follow our traditional ways must counter, you know, because both the left and the right do this to groups that they hate. The left will say that all Brahmins, or indeed all upper castes, must collectively be held responsible for the crimes of a few among them. And the right wing says that all Muslims must be collectively held responsible for the crimes of a few Muslims. They are both the same, and this collective guilt of entire groups is a Western, Middle Eastern concept, and we must argue against this. This is a highly dangerous concept. Collective guilt towards entire groups, both the left and the right do it, and they use it against groups that they don't like. This is I do not support this kind of approach. We must look at individuals individually for their.
I'm not being able to draw you out and get you to reveal what you think about the fact that it is the reality that in several temples, for example, the Bhairav temple in Delhi, it permits devotees to offer alcohol to the presiding deity Bhairav, manifestation of Lord Shiva. At the Kaali Bhairav temple in Ujjain, apart from flowers and coconuts, a bottle of liquor is often offered to the deities by devotees. At the Panchya Dada temple in Surendranagar in Gujarat, devotees come from far to give liquor and some of the bitings to the devotees. This is the same as in the Manaigarh area of Ahmedabad, the Uttareshwari temple in Odisha, Kashi ke Kotwal as well, where chocolate, alcohol, meat are quite dear to the gods who preside over these temples.
Rahul, I said again, there are, you know, every religion, there are things that can be discussed, and there's a platform for that. And I discussed that. In fact, you can check my old videos. I've discussed that openly. The issue out here is actually not that. The issue out here is a sense of unfairness which is causing people to react in certain ways. And the point is, unless we address that, you know, for example, I'm a very liberal, peaceful person, but if someone makes Gaumutra jibes, for example, even I get upset that this is, I mean, okay, I'm liberal and peaceful, so I will not get angry, right? This is at the heart of the issue that you're seeing in India today, and genuinely for you know, for our dharmic traditions and for our ancestors, I wish we can push back against the one-way disrespect that is being meted out by two groups, which is causing much of this this chaos. We assume that only Hindus are liberal in India. I am saying it's not true. Hindus are of course liberal, as every other religious group in India. It's only in India that a Muslim group like the Manganiyars, who can be Namazi Muslims, will also sing devotional ballads to Lord Ram. It's only in India that Christians will celebrate Diwali as well. The atmosphere does exist. The atmosphere is being spoiled by two groups primarily, woke and radical woke Marxists and radical Islamists.
Where
We
does this
must
end? This
speak of
equilibrium that you speak about and the pushback from Hindu society, where does this end? Does it potentially
John Nash's, look,
Yes.
it's better to quote a Nobel laureate than you
No,
or
you
I.
tell me what you think.
And
You're a smart thinker yourself. No, my question, hear my question then respond. My fear is, does this end in an India which is less tolerant, less liberal, less open, where people get offended so quickly that if you say something which in years, like let me give you that example of that Rishikesh Mukherjee film from 1983. When it came in the film, you know, the honeymoon, nobody even commented, they just chuckled at it, laughed it off. Now, you've got Zubair who's been arrested. There's an ED inquiry which is separately ongoing against him. The police has locked him up. He's not been given bail yet. So does that end up in a more intolerant voice? What was just a joke which would be laughed at 83 in 1983 now becomes a criminal offense?
Rahul, in traditional Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and in fact all the Dharmic religions, so traditional Sikhism as well, blasphemy was seen as juvenile stupidity, frankly. Not as something that, the Nash equilibrium and the game theory shows very clearly in which two ways this can move. Either all religions are treated with equal respect or all religions are treated with equal disrespect. It will move in one of these two directions. Where it will move, I don't know. I'm not a crystal ball gazer, but what I would like is ideally going back to our traditional ways where we do not disrespect religions or gods or prophets. I gently question all religion, but you'll never find a video of me speaking rudely or offensively of any god of any religion, of any prophet or messiah, male or female.
Sure, no, I hear you. That's an important, the intonation, the intent, the delivery is important.
That does not mean that we do not question. We question gently, because that's how reform happens, right? That's how improvement happens. I wish we can go back to that, to that way of life, but I suspect that is not possible in any democracy, Western democracies or Indian democracies, as long as these two groups, radical woke Marxists and radical Islamists, keep creating their one-way disrespect issue, frankly.